Hi, my name is Steve Radicassa. I'm the Cloud Services Manager for eGroup, and today we're going to take a quick look at an easy way to improve a design that we see implemented far too often that just drives me crazy every time I see it. So in the scenario here, we've got a vSwitch with two physical NICs, vMNIC 0 and vMNIC 1, where the management VM kernel itself is tied directly to vMNIC 1, and the VM kernel for vMotion, VMK1, is tied directly to the physical vMNIC 1. A one-to-one mapping here. Sometimes we see this where these are on separate vSwitches, but the principle here applies the same way. And this drives me crazy because, if you follow the best practices and you've got two separate physical switches that are upstream, you still have a single point of failure. If this switch were to go down, your management traffic stops. So if you do not have a backup management network implemented, this has implications for high availability, or HA. It'll also gray out the host within vCenter on your vSphere client, and it'll say that the host is disconnected. And it's so simple to change and improve this that it just drives me crazy that people don't have it implemented this way. So that the easiest and the best way to accommodate for this and to provide the additional level of availability or redundancy is to simply override the failover order on the vSwitch. Or if these are, again, remember I said that these can be two separate vSwitches, collapse them into one so that you can use both NICs, and then just set them alternating with an active and a passive NIC. So it's usually drawn like this with some really terribly dotted lines there, where for vMotion, VMK1, this is going to be the active NIC. But if this switch goes down, or if that NIC otherwise gets marked as down, it'll automatically fail over and use vMNIC 0. And then you do the same, only the opposite for management. You set your management to use vMNIC 1 as its standby, and in case this switch goes down, it can fail over here and take the traffic out that way. It's very simple, very straightforward. It makes a lot of sense. One's active, one's standby. They both have guaranteed bandwidth because it's using this NIC entirely on its own, unless there's a failure in the environment. vMotion has got full bandwidth on this NIC, unless again there's an issue or something goes down in the environment. And it's really simple to configure. So we'll jump over to the vSphere client here, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. So what I've done is I've created a vMotion VM kernel, just kind of a bogus configuration there. And I'll just kind of show how this gets done. So if you come over to the NIC teaming tab of the specific VM kernel itself, you'll see you have the ability here to checkbox override vSwitch failover order, which in my case here is checked. So knowing that, if we flip back real quick, I had VMK1 for vMotion tied to vMNIC 1. So if we wanted to actually implement that, we could say vMNIC 1 is the one we want active for vMotion, because that's the name of our VM kernel port. So I'm going to move down vMNIC 0 to standby. Very, very simple. And then you would go ahead and do the opposite for management. I'm not going to do that here because this is my lab environment, but the principle applies the same.